whoever's saying this, honestly, I'll be honest with you, is probably trying to pretend he knows stuff that he doesn't know. Honestly, it doesn't make any sense.
I know where this is coming from.
Not that guy. I don't think it's him. Imagine it's him. Damon23 says, do you recognize adrenal fatigue, since the medical community seems to not think it that way and more of an adrenal insufficiency? What's your take on it, and how do you combat it if someone's always relying on stims? So it's not, I don't call it adrenal fatigue. There may be an insufficiency of the, so adrenals, your adrenals are one of the three places in your body that your body produces steroids. It produces, mainly cortisol, they're glucocorticoids. So you may have an insufficiency. So your body may respond, for example, if you're on androgens, you'll produce less cortisol than if you're not on androgens. Your body responds to knowing what you're taking and produces less of maybe adrenaline or cortisol eventually. But usually what I see with people that are stimulant addicts, who I've known many in my life, is a downregulation of their receptors, of the adrenaline receptors and dopamine receptors. So they feel less and get less. And so what you do is you go away from the stimulants instead of trying to get around it. That's the only way. Now you could block your adrenaline receptor with propranolol or something. You could block your dopamine receptor with Seroquel, something like that, before bed a little bit during those few weeks you want to recover. It may speed up your recovery, but there's nothing around stopping doing it. Jordan.
So wait, let me talk a little bit more about this adrenal fatigue. So, even though it's not clinically recognized, there are cases post contest where a lot of people feel this adrenal insufficiency because they've overdone the stimulants and they completely downregulated their neurosteroid production, the DHEA and the pregnenolone, and those contribute to adrenal sufficiency and sensitivity at the receptor site. So if you go back onto something that's a little bit more bioidentical after a cutting phase or contest prep, you take all the stimulants out, the ephedrine and the Adderall and the caffeine and whatever else you were taking. You basically go no stimulants for a while and restore your neurosteroid production with an ACG or an HMG or supplementing DHA and pregnenolone. Usually within 2 or 3 weeks, everything feels normal again. And then you can reintroduce the coffee. But you have to abstain. Even ashwagandha root extract, in some cases it's beneficial and in some cases it's not beneficial to restore this adrenal baseline.
I don't know if it is or not, but everything else I agree with what you said.
Yeah.
So Jordan X2 says, he asked a few questions and we didn't get to them last time, so I want to get to them. They're very good questions. So he says, hey Leo, heard from a podcast that apparently pinning any compound that is a substrate for aromatase subcutaneously will cause more aromatization to estradiol as it's directly in the fat. Sounds very odd to me. Your thoughts? What do you guys think?
I say it's bullshit. I first of all, why would you ever shoot
Don't shoot it in the fat in the first place, for God's sake.
Stupid as fuck. But no, I can't see it affecting estrogen anymore.
I guess
it's so localized. I mean, look at the surface. Let's say you do a microinjection, subcutaneous, right? Look at the surface area. It's nothing, right? So that's where the aromatase enzyme activity would take place. If it goes systemic, that's a much higher surface area. So it's not going to do anything locally. But if it goes systemic, you get more aromatase activity. But if you're just high body fat, you get a lot more conversion of testosterone into estrogen. So I would just do intramuscular and deal with the aromatase activity with a dihydrotestosterone derivative or reducing your body fat levels. But I don't think subcutaneous has to do with anything. Now, if you pin insulin in the same spot over and over again, yes, you're going to get fat in that little area.
Yeah. And have you ever noticed pinning GH in one area, you lose fat there?
Never.
Ever noticed that?
A lot of people say that. I never had experience.
I tried it in a single area in my lower back and one side for a long time. I also tried it in chest, one side intramuscular, didn't change anything.
Yeah, I never got any effect like that. But I tell you what, it did help with fat loss in that area. Our favorite drug, FTTP.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say it, for God's sake. But
did you ever try Halios, the injectable clenbuterol with johimbine?
Yeah, I hate that stuff. It knotted me up like a motherfucker. I've tried it from a few. I still have a ton of that stuff. I never touch that stuff again.
You like
Throw it away.
Fuck
That's
that.
My opinion is I want to know why people are injecting in their fat. I don't understand. It's not because they're scared of needles. It's because these guys, I think, are using 22 gauge needles each time and don't realize, dude, that you can backload an insulin syringe and inject here on your chest and move it around each time, and it's painless, and you don't need to inject. What are you going to inject? 3 cc's into your fat? You can't do that. So it's just 1 cc you're injecting, right? 1 cc in your chest. I don't do shoulders, but around your chest, that's very easy. You can move around. And
I'd agree with you, but when you're doing shit like me, when I was doing like 9 cc's every other day,
but that guy's not doing 9 cc's in his fat, for God's sake. So, but yeah, if you do that, then you got to do those big injections every so often, and then the little ones at other times. But I think it may be possible, honestly. The body has weird metabolic processes locally in different places, but I don't think you'd notice it. But then he also says, also heard from the same podcast, that taking an AI with fish oil, of all things, or a meal containing fat will make it more effective. Is this true? I mean, first of all, obviously none of us have probably noticed this, but I want to comment on this because I had to go research it. I wasn't sure. I saw this last week and I was like, this is very curious. So letrozole is 99% orally bioavailable. Aromacin and Arimidex are over 95% bioavailable without food. Okay. Now there is the idea that if you eat food, you may slow the function of the liver, which does a first pass metabolism on these drugs. So there's one paper showing maybe aromacin could be slightly more, have a bigger area under the curve pharmacokinetically if you ate it with food around breakfast. But otherwise, in fact, it's thought that it may reduce the absorption of letrozole. And certainly all of these things are over 95% bioavailable without food. So whoever's saying this, honestly, I'll be honest with you, is probably trying to pretend he knows stuff that he doesn't know. Honestly, it doesn't make any sense.
I know where this is coming from.
Not that guy. I don't think it's him. Imagine it's him.
It wouldn't surprise me because that guy always said that you need to take your orals with fish oil, all right? And aromatase inhibitors
are you serious?
Yeah.
Bro, that guy, the other day I was watching one of his videos. I watch his videos, but I saw like a PowerPoint. I'm subscribed to this shit because I'm paying attention to him now.
Are you talking about Broderick?
No, not even Broderick. The guy that steals from Broderick. His name is Victor Black.
No, I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about one of your old accomplices, Amin. Who I remember him saying that
just
combine fish oil with orals and it absorbs better. And
no, he says that about orals.
To absorb it, it's just take it sublingual,
Bro, when I was helping Amin out, I remember one day he had to make a video for a sponsor, and he was like, I have to make a video on aromacin. I was like, go make it. And he's like, what should I say? And I was like, you don't know what aromacin is? Like, it's a suicide inhibitor. It's different. Than it's not a. And he was like, no. He thought aromacin was Arimidex, and Arimidex was aromacin, and he didn't know the difference between letrozole. So don't take, bro.
You got the brand names.
You have to understand, when somebody's doing this as a career, which Bostin isn't. Bostin is a real guy from the beginning. He doesn't pretend to know anything he doesn't know. I also don't. This is a personal challenge called Leo. We don't do this kind of stuff. But when somebody has a career based around this, they're gonna try to seem like an expert. I sense that from Victor Black, Broderick Chavez, Amin Alai, all these kind of type of people. That Dave's not like that, for example. Dave says what he thinks he believes, but other people pretend to. This is a ridiculous thing about the AI.
That's very common in the fitness industry because everybody wants to sound like an authority.
Exactly.
And right, but we can all, and at least we complement each other when we don't know something, because it's very difficult to know everything about everything that we do in bodybuilding or fitness or health or longevity. So, I think a lot of people just need to, specialize in their little field and then let other people fill in the blanks, because I don't know.
Definitely shouldn't be calling himself the mad scientist, that's for sure.
That was his old name. But you know who called him Guru? Tony Huge.
Yeah, Tony.
Yeah.